Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I Overreacting, and it's by user I'll Just Take the Bus. Am I overreacting by refusing to go on my friend group's future camping trip because of how past trips turned out, specifically when they've brought their kids? Hi, not the best writer, but I'll try my best. I'm genuinely conflicted on my situation at the moment. I, 27 female, love my friends' kids, and I want to make that very clear. I work with kids nearly every day in daycares, aftercares, and busing on occasion. I genuinely enjoy working with them, and it's just that short and sweet. My friend group, 5 women, aging 25 to 30, including me. They all have kids, 4 to 10-year-olds, 6 kids total between the 4. And I'm the only one without kids because I'm unable to, due to medical reasons. Sad face. Anyways, a couple of weeks ago, they decided we should go on a camping trip for spring break this year. I was excited until they said they were each planning on bringing their kids. And again, I love their kids, but I was hoping for a break this time since I work with children nearly daily and because of how past trips had turned out. I tried politely asking if they'd consider having their kids stay with family or if we could choose a place with either on-site care or at least designed with childcare in mind, so they could still join if they had still insisted they'd come. They reacted as if I suggested shoving them off a cliff and said I was being assy and overly demanding for even suggesting. I don't think I was being overly demanding there, but here is where I think I'm the assy part though. I did bring up our past trips. Past should stay in the past, I know. With their kids came along and how I was intentionally left behind and by myself to babysit them while they went out and did things. And how I had paid for myself on each of those trips, but had to miss out each time because I was watching their kids. And now, taking a step back on the situation, it feels like I, somewhere along the lines, became their unpaid and on-demand babysitter while they go out and have fun. I'm in no way blaming their kids for anything. They are literal angels. XOXO. I did mention to them that I'd like a break too, because of that. And one of them said to me that, "You're not a mother, so why you even need a break when it's literally your day job to watch kids?" She did quickly backtrack and said they wouldn't do that this time though, but I honestly don't believe her, or just them, because of the past patterns. Her comment genuinely shattered my heart, and I immediately said I wasn't going to go at all now. So now they're saying I'm definitely overreacting for wanting to stay home altogether because their kids were coming, which isn't the case at all. I genuinely feel guilty for suggesting they keep their kids home, on one hand, but I never said we had to completely and entirely exclude them if they didn't like the idea of them being home. Even if they have me babysit again on this trip, I'd like to be somewhere where all 7 of us don't have to sit in a room all day, watching TV, and I can go do activities with them, at the very least. But am I overreacting for refusing to go on the trip at all together because of what's happened in the past and because of her recent comment as the cherry on top? Thanks. OP, I don't think you're overreacting, and it does sound like you have really good nature and they're just taking advantage of it completely. What the hell is that comment? That's the truth that just slipped out. Why should you get a break? You're not even a mother. Yet consider you their babysitter because it is your day job. So yeah, they're taking advantage of you, OP, and now that you're backtracking on going, they're all sorry, trying to guilt trip you, saying that you're overreacting, dismissing your feelings. They're not acting like friends, OP. They're acting like people that are just interested in getting you there so you can take their kids off their hands while they go do whatever it is they want. So no, OP, I don't think you're overreacting, and I do think you deserve a break, and your quote-unquote friends shouldn't be behaving this way. They should actually try to hear you out if they're your friends. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Consistent Elk 8702 says, if your friends are treating you like an unpaid babysitter, they aren't your friends. Low Industry 1622 says, no, not overreacting, but I would highly consider a new group of friends. There's mom friends and regular friends. You won't be able to keep up without it being a barrier of some type. Unlucky Witness 1606 says, not overreacting. I get it. I work with children all day long. It is not a crime or selfishness to want a child-free vacation. You may need to reevaluate these supposed friends. Bubonies says, quote, I'm not going not because your kids are coming. I'm not going because the idea of paying for what's supposed to be a vacation only to have to babysit your kids again while you all have a vacation and leave me behind again is not even remotely fair to me. I do encourage you all to go on vacation with your kids and have a great time together. I will have my own vacation elsewhere where I can enjoy myself without having to be responsible for someone else's children. And Moira's Cheese says, not overreacting. I'm sorry, but someone needs to let you know that these are not your friends. I repeat, these women are not your friends. Why would you go on vacation with them and be their babysitter? Girl, they are using you. Find a new friend group because these women are users, not friends. Well, the community is trying to help OP see the red flags in this whole scenario, so let's move on to the first of 2 updates to see what happened next. I've been reading comments and it has made me realize how I failed to mention a major detail. For that one comment, yes, the 30-year-old has the 10-year-old, lol. So how did they force me to babysit? Is the comment I have seen a few times. It was gradual, in lack of a better term. I have been on a total of 3 vacations with this group where they've brought their kids. We've had other trips together when they were without them, and those trips were okay, apart from some arguments here and there. Anyways, at first, on the first trip we took together with their kids, they asked me if I would watch them for a couple of hours while they went for drinks. They know I'm not a drinker and that a bar would be the last place I'd want to be, so I agreed to watch them. They left and ended up staying out most of the night. Then, when they came back, it was early the next morning and were all drunk. Thankfully, they Ubered there and back, but they just complained the entire day because of the hangovers. So I was essentially forced into watching them and their kids all day just for their safety and my peace of mind. The second trip with their kids, they had asked if I could watch them again for a few hours while they went bar hopping, their term. That time I said no because I had already planned to do something for that evening and also early the next morning, all on my own time. I said something along the lines of how I didn't think it'd be wise for them to leave and all come back drunk again. They were annoyed by it, but shrugged it off and even agreed with me, so I thought that was the end of it. But while I was getting ready that evening, I quickly found out that they had left without telling me. The 10-year-old had told me that they told him to tell me that they went to a bar anyways. I immediately tried calling and texting them, but they didn't answer. So, without knowing exactly where they went or for how long they'd be, I, of course, stayed with their kids and ultimately cancelled my plans for that evening. They finally showed up later that night and admitted that they did go drink, but said they only went for a couple, so they wouldn't be hungover again. Yes, I was mad, but I did get to do my own things the next day, so I thought it was a one-off. The third trip with the kids, they left early in the morning and left a note for me to find on the kitchen counter at the Airbnb, and to summarize what it said, they said they were going out and asked if I could watch the kids for the day and they would be back later. I tried calling and texting them, but again, they never answered. So I figured they must have silenced me. I did stay with their kids that day and I was pissed at them when they came back the next day because I had to cancel my plans again for the day before. So yes, I was forced into staying and watching their kids 2 different times because I wasn't going to just abandon them like they basically did. I don't have it in my heart to walk out on them and have something happen and I was the last adult there. It would eat me alive. They didn't ditch me when we were out together and their kids were at home. They only did when they were with us. So I saw a pattern. The first time, yes, I agreed to do it. The next 2 times, I was forced to. So I am almost guaranteeing that they will pull some stunt like this again, but this time over an entire week. Our trips in the past have been over weekends. I cannot fathom what would be in store for me if I do go. And with many comments saying continue with my decision and don't go, I will most definitely be taking that route and planning my own trip if they don't want to take my options into consideration so we can all enjoy our time, kids included. There are still many days between now and this trip happening, so anything is possible in the days coming and I am nervous of the drama I might have to endure until then, or even after. We are in an argument still because of me stating that I wanted to back out over a few days ago, but I will try my best to see where I stand in their group after a final decision is made. Thank you everyone for commenting. I will get real updates for y'all when I can. Alright, well, the friends are definitely not friends and really crappy people. They're just taking advantage of OP at this point. Every single time. And OP does see it. So now let's move on to the final update to see how the story ends. I'm done. Hey y'all, I've been trying to keep up with the comments, but with so many coming in, I just cannot respond to everyone fast enough. It is extremely overwhelming for the support you guys have had for me in just these few short hours. So, I have spoken to my friends and brought up most of the points that definitely needed to be made. The ones that I so foolishly overlooked because of my fatal flaw of believing people change. Well, I'm now here to state I'm not going and never will again, as we are no longer friends. I have decided to cut all contact with them as of today, and I feel okay-ish. I will miss their kids, but it is something I have to sacrifice for my own well-being, even though it is crushing me. Those people were a part of my life for so long, and now I fully realize that I've been conditioned to respond to their issues and mine with just my presence alone. Now I just feel more lost and angrier than before because I have nowhere to turn now. Many of you were right by saying that they would attack me if I held my ground on not going. And those people that said that were right, and that is exactly what happened. I cannot believe how much of an idiot I have been for feeding into their lies and chaotic spirals for all of these years. I have been thinking very hard about all of our past meetups, trips, and only now I have really picked up on the pretty clear and damning clues that I missed of being manipulated by them. I have known them all since elementary school, so I stupidly believed and grasped at the straws that showed the slight chance of hope that because we had history, they would always have my best intentions in mind and just have my back in general. Nope. Well, I'm the one wearing the L on my forehead. When we talked earlier today on a con call, I'm happy to say that I stood my ground using everyone's suggestions on here, gave my options again, and one of them said, well, we just won't go then. I feel that comment alone pretty much solidified my place in their world, and I saw their masks fall, like the one commenter said on the original post. Another comment even said if they cancelled altogether, then I would know how they truly felt. I cannot believe how effing stupid I am and have been. Thank you everyone for opening my eyes on my crap choice in friends. What I have learned is that I've been in a circus looking for clowns and didn't realize that there was one standing in my shoes. And just because you have history with someone, it doesn't mean that you are friends. Another note I want to make is that I personally do not believe their kids are in any danger with them. They, to my knowledge, have never left them by themselves or with complete strangers. It has only been with people they know. Example, me. I saw one comment ask where the kids' fathers are. Well, two of the girls are bouncing between boyfriends, and both of the fathers are in the picture for their kids there. One is married, father is present, and the other is single, but father is not present. They have all been really great guys, and what I am suspecting, completely based on what I know now, is the two women jumping from boyfriend to boyfriend are just because they are crappy people. One of them is who made that mother comment about me. The kids' fathers took guys' trips with the kids when we were on our girl trips, and we would go back and forth with them. These kids were always taken really great care of from what I've seen. They have never complained to me about any issues. Thank you again, Reddit, for all of your comments and words of encouragement, and letting me know what I was feeling earlier was valid and had deeper meanings than I was willing to accept. Yes, I think I may be overreacting by completely cutting ties with them as of today, but because of everyone's words here and looking back on times while we were alone without their kids, yeah, it's apparently clear that they never really gave two craps about me, which really sucks. Because that's all I ever did when it came to them. Well, Lupi, I understand that you're hurt because you're basically grieving years-long relationships that weren't actually there or that might have turned differently as you guys grew older. But you have made the right decision. You don't need crappy people in your life. So, here's wishing you the best, OP. Hope you have a great holiday. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user OddParamedic3007. Am I the a-hole for not putting pregnant girlfriend on the deed of the house? My girlfriend and I have been together for 2 years. She is pregnant and the baby is due in April 2026. Before we found out she was pregnant, we had discussed possibly buying a house together. After we found out she was pregnant, this plan went into overdrive. When we went through the process of getting pre-approved, I discovered that she has pretty significant credit card debt. Given that, a joint mortgage would be significantly more expensive than me getting a mortgage alone. I said since I am the only one on the mortgage, I think I should be the only one on the deed. My girlfriend said she was okay with this. We found a house we both liked, made an offer, it was accepted, and we are closing in 3 weeks' time. She is now refusing to move into the house unless she is on the deed. I am refusing to put her on the deed given that she is not on the mortgage. She is not on the mortgage and 100% of the down payment comes from my savings. Am I the a-hole? No, Opie, not at all. You're just doing the safe thing. You said yourself that the fact that your girlfriend has significant credit card debt, although we don't know the number, but significant enough that a mortgage would be way more expensive with her on it. And then the sketchy part of her saying she was okay with all that you were doing, but now she's trying to force you to put her name on the deed. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Can't put my finger on it, but it rubs me the wrong way. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Wheels Up and Running says, not the a-hole. How much debt does she have? You need to sit down and look at both your finances. Is she continuing to spend on credit cards without fully paying them off? She could ruin you financially. And Dopey responds, she has $90,000 in credit card debt, where she represented it was about $10,000. Lying to your significant other about something so significant when you are planning a future is a choice, not a mistake. Organic History 205 says, you should put in your post that she is nearly $100,000 in credit card debt. That indicates severe financial issues. You would not want her on the deed because she could get sued and collected against or take out a HELOC. Be clear and set attainable goals. She needs to go to financial counseling and get on a debt management plan before being out on the deed. Miami Lawyer says, not the a-hole. I am a family law attorney. Putting her on the deed would be a disaster for you. Do not do it until she gets her financial house in order. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that, yeah, $100K in credit card debt or almost $100K? No, not gonna happen. So now let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. A couple of weeks ago after my original post, my girlfriend broke up with me due to the housing situation and not being on the deed. She started looking for a new place. We were living together. She could not find a place that she could afford on her own that was not sketchy, and none of her friends were interested in finding a place together. Shocking. Given the situation, I agreed to let her move in. While I know it is not ideal, she is still pregnant with my kid. She will stay in one of the guest rooms. I am paying 100% of the costs for the house, and she still will not be on the deed. She will be responsible for her own groceries. We have a written lease agreement, but I will not be charging her rent. She will need to buy her own furniture, bed, etc. That said, she has made multiple comments about how it's not really her home, how it's unfair to her, how she feels she has no security, and how she is at my mercy since everything is in my name. She has asked to decorate the whole house. I am opposed, but as a compromise, I told her that she is free to decorate her room and the nursery as long as she does not make it any permanent changes, like new paint. From my perspective, I am being more than fair by providing a free place to live and covering all housing expenses, even after we broke up. I am responsible for my kid and providing said kid stable housing, and that is what I'm doing. Yeah, Opie, I'd also start talking to a lawyer now regarding how the co-parenting situation can be once she moves out. Because I get the feeling that this is like a foot in the door kind of situation, and then she's gonna own the whole house, so be careful. And on that note, here's wishing you the best, Op. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge, and it's by user InBeanis. No, I won't vacate my seat halfway through my meal when I was here first. Petty revenge in progress. I've come to a cafe near my office for lunch, and the only space they had to sit was at the end of a communal table. No problem. I sat at the very end of the table, leaving 3 other spaces. I ordered my lunch and sat there minding my own business. A couple of women arrived soon and politely asked if they could sit at 2 of the 3 spaces next to me. No problem. Then, when I was just starting to eat my lunch, 2 other people arrived to join them. There was only 1 other free seat left. So what did they do? Yep, asked me to move somewhere else. The cafe is full. I'm in the middle of my meal, and I was here before any of them. I politely refused. Now they're carrying on about how selfish I'm being, taking up the entire communal table when I'm only one person. They're watching me eat, willing me to finish and leave. F them. Once I've finished eating, I'm going to order a coffee, linger over it, and then order a slice of cake. And that, OP, is a petty revenge masterclass. Lingering on the coffee and then a piece of cake. Hopefully that'll teach him not to be rude. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch.